Hi there, Business 310 students. In this video, I'll talk a little bit about how to approach the ePortfolio assignment, which is really just a digital portfolio, also known as a website. You're getting here to the end of this class, so this is going to be your chance to showcase your work and practice communicating using a new format. So a little bit here to think about is how this assignment is going to be related to this other very closely related assignment, which is the slide deck presentation or the media presentation. So on the left-hand side here, we'll talk a little bit about what the ePortfolio consists in. It's really coming down to being just a basic website. So if you have any previous experience building a website, this assignment should be a little bit easier for you. I know though that most all of us have used plenty of websites before, and so we kind of understand how they work. One real advantage of a website as a way to communicate information is using that page, you're going to allow viewers to interact with the content at their own pace. They can open up your page. If they want to start by looking at a menu to navigate, they can do that. They can also just scroll through and click on links or icons if you have those. Either way, the advantage here is that it's really up to the viewer or the user, we sometimes might say with technology, to be able to interact with your content. The other advantage for you as the creator is you're in control of this website. Your portfolio is your creation, and that means you can edit it as you see fit. If you want to add more information after you publish it and the site is live, you can do that. You can also take things down if you later decide you don't want them up. And toward the end of this slide deck, I'll talk a little bit about how to take the site down altogether, because that is a really important skill in terms of digital literacy and knowing how to use web communication. On the other hand of the screen here, the right-hand side, I've got a little bit of notes about the slide deck. I won't talk a lot about that in this presentation, other than to say it is a closely related assignment, which is why they're being paired together, most notably in the sense that they're happening here at the end of the semester, and the content, the actual information that you'll be presenting in both of them will be your assignments from the semester, and so that can pretty much be the same. The differences, though, with that slide deck is that it's going to be designed as if it were an oral presentation. Here, the practice you'll get is developing a slide deck and using the voiceover techniques to be able to prepare a video. You could just as easily be presenting those slides to a room full of a live audience if you wanted. The other difference compared to the ePortfolio is that with a slide deck, you're going to be preparing information in a pretty linear format. Your slides will be first, second, third, and so on. And so the order that you present them in is really going to be up to you. The viewers or listeners or audience can't really make a choice. They're just there to watch the show, basically. And the advantage then is that you get to develop your own story. You get to tell your narrative the way you want. These two do go hand in hand really closely. So one thing I'd like to emphasize is you don't need to do a lot of double work. You can use the same content in both the portfolio and the presentation. As the person creating it, for you, it might feel a little bit repetitive, but at the end of these connected assignments, what you'll have is two really different ways of communicating the information, and hopefully have this ability or sense that you can communicate to different audiences based on their needs using these two really different tools. Another thing is this: if you want, you can include your slide deck, your PowerPoint presentation in your portfolio if you want. If you choose to work on that presentation first, you can later use it in your portfolio, but you don't have to. So the goal here with these connected assignments is for you to be able to reflect on what you've learned and practiced throughout the course of this class, and to really just experiment using these different ways of communicating that information. So a little bit here about building your portfolio. If this is new, it's fine. The good thing is we've got some samples that you can look at, and I'll also do a quick tutorial for how to build it out using Google Sites. I'm going to move out of this slide deck for a moment. You can visit both of these links. The first one is an instructor model, and the second one is an actual student sample from a Business 310 student. We'll look here at the first one. This is for an instructor, Cheryl Leonard, who also teaches Business 310. So she's really developed this nicely to explain a little bit about what a portfolio is and how you could use it. This is something, if you wanted, you could think about preparing and presenting it whenever you're applying for a job or if you're looking for an internship. She's gone in and added some photos to really kind of give it a nice visual appeal. There's all these pages here on the navigation menu off to the left-hand side. These are kind of tutorials explaining how you can add files, charts, photographs, videos, audio files. Any of these things can be added pretty easily. And then she kind of does demos of what these look like. And so this is, I'll say, a pretty developed site. I realize you don't have a huge amount of time in this class. There's some nice photos of the ocean and some marine life here, but you can get a really nice little embedded photo show if you want to see those dolphins. So feel free to explore this if you want. Like I said, it's a slightly more advanced or developed kind of portfolio. Emmanuel here has graciously offered to share his work with us to see as a sample. I think he actually did a really good job here. And in Business 310 in the spring semester of 2023. So just a real brief, introduction of himself, and then going in and including these copies of his assignments. If you've already done your work in Google Docs, it's very easy to put a link in. If you've been working elsewhere, an easy way to do it is to move things into a folder. So here's just a sample folder like in your Google Drive. And I would encourage you to think about using your CSUCI Google account for this. If you have your own and want to use that instead, you can do that too. So here you can see he's got his report on a career, dress code memo, resume, all of them are here. You don't have to include every single assignment, but you can include as many as you want. And that does it for him. It's just one page, and it actually, I think, works really well. So at this point, you might be wondering, how do I do this? If I've never done a website before, don't be worried. Google makes it actually pretty easy to get one of these started, and I can guarantee you already have the tools that you need to do it. So I'll talk through this first, and then I'll show you in the screen tutorial. Really, all you need to do is open up your Google Drive account. Again, it's preferred that you use your CSUCI account, but if you want to use your own, that's fine. And then under the area where you would say, I want to create a new doc or a new sheet, there's a little button at the bottom that says More. And if you open that, you realize there's actually a lot more options available. And one of them is called Google Sites. Basically, you'll just click that. It'll open up with this sample website template. And then you can add the content that you want and go ahead and design it to look however you want. So if we work through that, let's just imagine that we're here and I'm going to create a new material. You might be familiar with these kinds of things here, but under this option that says More, there is one that says Google Sites. And it will open up a page that looks something like this. And this is where I say this is pretty customizable. You can really kind of, put your name here. You can change the image out if you want. You can upload your own, or if you have some loaded, you can already do that. You can change the site name. And then down here, it's basically an empty template for right now. You can add content using these kinds of blocks like this. You can, check things out. So if you click one of these blocks, it will prepare an automated format. And then you can just click like this and add your document from your Google Drive, or if you want to upload a document or upload a PowerPoint, upload a video, any of those things you can add using that little plus button right there. And then down below, you can add text and explain the assignment. And it doesn't have to be, super long, just enough so that someone who's maybe not familiar with it knows what you're talking about. If you want to take a more detailed and custom approach, you can use all of these other little options here to add materials. And then as you do it, you can create new pages if you want new pages. You can add images, all different kinds of things there. So if we just take a quick pan here back to the slides, those are kind of the nuts and bolts of how to get started with a website. If this is completely new and maybe a little overwhelming to you, reach out and let me know. I'm happy to kind of take a little bit of time and walk through it more slowly and carefully. Again, this is what it looks like to get there to create that Google site. And once you're up and going, you can just kind of draft it there. When you're ready to make it available publicly, you'll just want to select the button that says Publish, which is up at the top right-hand corner of the screen. It might give you the option to name your own website. You can give it your name, whatever you want. But once you've said publish, it'll give you a website, and that's a link that you could share with anyone who might want to look at it. You can still go back in and edit your site. You'll just want to make the updates. Again, that's the advantage of working with a website, is you can work dynamically and you can revise content that way. So that's really the essence of the assignment, but I don't want to just leave it hanging and have the potential for these websites out there that you forget about. So I want to mention really carefully this other piece, which is being mindful of your digital privacy and just this kind of digital identity that we build. It's really easy to open up accounts or create sites all over the place, all over the web. The practice that I'll talk about here is how to kind of take control of it and take it down or edit it as you see fit. So ultimately, this is your website. You have full control over it. And it is an assignment for this class. So what I will do is when I am done grading it, I will send an announcement to the class or an email message directly to you to say, I am done grading your assignment. If you want to take it off the internet, you can. Of course, you can choose to leave it up if you want, but the choice is yours. The way to take it offline is basically the reverse of that last step. Also, under the Publish button, you can unpublish the website. And so I'll just briefly show that would be right up here under Publishing here. So to publish it would be to click Publish, and then after it's live, you can unpublish it. So we'll wrap it up by just saying, I hope that you have fun with this assignment, especially if you're interested in anything like digital marketing or visual design, website design. That's really what this is getting at. And remember, you can use everything that you're doing with this ePortfolio, with this website, in your media presentation. So be on the lookout for a separate video about the PowerPoint with a voiceover for the media presentation. You're almost there, done wrapping up this class. Thanks so much for your hard work. I'm looking forward to seeing your websites.